Sorry for the delay, folks. Apologies. I think, come on, let's stand together. Yeah. It's going to be me to Nick to you. Ileana, come on up. Good afternoon, everybody, or good evening, I should say. Thanks all for joining us. I think this is a big day for Jersey. I will have the privilege of signing this year's budget, which has passed both chambers. I might add with some Republican votes in each chamber. And with it, we're going to make a number of important investments into the future of our state, our economy, and most importantly, our families. I want to thank all of the tremendous leaders who worked day and night to make this budget a reality. Lieutenant Governor Tahisha Way is with us, Senate President Nick Scutari, Speaker Craig Coughlin, Majority Leaders, birthday gal, Senator Teresa Ruiz, Assemblyman Lou Greenwald. I don't see Lou with us. He's on his way. Budget Chairs Paul Sarlo. Paul, thank you. Assembly Budget Chair Ileana Pinter-Marin. Thank you, Ileana, along with so many of their colleagues in the legislature. I also want to thank to my far right, again, who's done a great job, State Treasurer Liz Moyo. Deputy Treasurer Aaron Binder is with us, Acting Director of the Office. Lou, come on over. I just announced you, by the way.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for you, sir.
Acting Director of the Office of Management and Budget, Tarek Shabazz. Chief of Staff Diane Gutierrez-Scacchetti. Principal Deputies, Chief of Staff Tim Hillman. Dennis Zeveloff, who's our Head of Policy, along with so many other colleagues. Pulling together a proposal of this scope and scale is no small task. And over the past 4 months, the leaders with us today have poured countless hours into crafting a budget that will help retain New Jersey's reputation as the best state in America to raise a family. With this budget, we are going to make life more affordable for more families. We're going to create new economic opportunities for our workers and our local businesses. And we're going to invest in the potential of every one of our neighbors, from our students to our senior citizens. But above all, this is a budget that will put the needs of our families ahead of the wants of special interests. And it will start by providing yet another round of record-high tax relief to our state's working and middle-class families. In fact, nearly half of this entire budget, more than $27 billion, will be dedicated toward providing either direct or indirect property tax relief to millions of our state's families. That investment includes the Anchor program, which will provide, by example, up to $1,750 of direct tax relief to each eligible senior citizen. And beyond property tax relief, our budget will also help bring down the costs of goods and services that every family relies upon, like housing, health insurance, prescription drugs, pre-K, and on and on and on. And to provide even greater support to our state's working and middle-class families, with this budget, we're also delivering on a promise our administration has made since day one. We will be, with the help of the folks up here with me, the first administration in New Jersey's history to fully fund our state school funding formula. In other words, this budget will provide the single largest investment into our state's public education system in our history, so it can remain the envy of the nation. And with this investment, we are going to cultivate the potential of every student in every school district, especially those districts that have, historically speaking, been underfunded. This is one of the most important steps we can take in ensuring that New Jersey remains the state of opportunity. And in that same spirit, to help connect even more of our families to new opportunities, I'm proud to say that our budget will also create a brand new dedicated funding stream to support NJ Transit. It is called the Corporate Transit Fee. And this fee will make our state's public transit system more reliable, more dependable, and more accessible for working New Jerseyans. And it will accomplish this goal in a responsible manner. And on the topic of leading responsibly, this budget will also ensure that we continue delivering on our commitment to our families, like making a full payment into our pension system for the 4th straight year, while also maintaining a healthy surplus. Now, there are some folks out there who decry the fact that we are spending more than we are taking in. I have a couple of responses to that. First of all, we're still in a fragile post-COVID phase. We are doing this deliberately. We want to jumpstart and make sure that the economy gets back on its feet as fast as it can. But we also are making up for decades of behavior in this state. Not funding fully our pension system for 25 years, not fully funding the school funding formula, which has been in existence since 2008, not making good on property tax relief that was long promised to go. Let me give you a very specific example of what I mean by this. The pension payment, Aaron, is about $7.1 billion. If we had been making this in this budget, if we had been making our full pension payments over those 25 years, it would have been $1.1 billion. So in this budget alone, we are paying a $6 billion penalty for past behavior. Over the past 4 budgets, that number is a total of $23 billion. So for the folks out there who say we're spending more than we're taking in, I want to make sure that they read their history. This can't go on, by the way. It goes on in Washington. There hasn't been a balanced budget since the mid-90s. Bless you. We're collectively committed to making sure that we get that back into balance. But you can't do it overnight, and you certainly can't do it overnight with the history in this state. So altogether, this budget will provide a robust foundation for us to continue building a New Jersey that is stronger and fairer than ever before. A state where every family has a fair shot at a brighter future, and every child receives the support they need to chase their dreams. This budget is a testament to what we can achieve when we turn down the noise in our political conversation and come together in support of our shared values. Because together, in partnership with the leaders here today, we are investing in the future of every New Jerseyan in every community. We are working to make sure we hand our children a state that is better than the one we founded, a New Jersey that is the very best place to live, work, settle down, and retire. Thank you all once again. With that, please help me welcome an outstanding leader, the Senate President, Nick Scuteri. Nick?
Thank you, Governor. I think the Governor summarized things quite well. First and foremost, I want to thank the Senate caucus, the Democratic caucus, and bipartisanly led by these 2 fine leaders. I'm really, really lucky to be in leadership with Majority Leader Teresa Ruiz, whose birthday today. Happy birthday. And Budget Chairman Paul Sarlo. And I want to thank the Speaker, working with him these past 3 years. But I'm really blessed to have these 2 fine leaders with me, and along with a unified Democratic caucus. That's why we can get anything done. And this is a really super responsible budget. It puts our priorities right on point. It funds New Jersey Transit with a dedicated revenue stream. It makes pension payments, as the Governor talked about, really great, great things that we did here in this budget. And it does it in a responsible manner. Wouldn't be possible without these 2 individuals over here in the Senate caucus helping me lead that caucus. But because of that combined leadership, we're able to get these things done so quickly and in a responsible manner. I want to thank the Governor for working with us. He's done an outstanding job putting together a really great budget again. I hope it's as good next year as it is this year, but we'll take it one step at a time. But it's really been great in these past couple of years that I've had an opportunity to work closely with the Governor and the Speaker. Thank you to my leaders again, and congratulations, Governor, on a great job. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Nick. Well said. And thank you for your leadership and your colleagues' leadership. With that, please help me welcome the Speaker of the General Assembly, Craig Coughlin. Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Governor. I think we're going to work on the budget right now, as soon as we're done, and we'll still pass it at midnight, near midnight, on the 28th of June in 2025. Truth of the matter is, first of all, happy birthday to Senate Majority Leader. It's her day. I'm going to ask everybody to sing. Ready? 1. No. Come on. I want to thank everybody on my side of the House. You couldn't ask for a better budget leader, a better budget chair than Ileana Pinto-Marin, a majority leader than Lou Greenwald. We've worked together and expressed the things that are important to those of us in the Senate. Couldn't have a better partner than Senator Scuteri, and a better governor to work with than Governor Murphy. I think all of the things that you've heard talk about, the things that are in this budget, are reflective of the things that the promises that we made to the people of New Jersey when we said to them, we're going to sit down at your kitchen table, and we're going to make sure that the things that are important to you are important to us. And I think those things are reflected in the budget that you saw us pass today. Increased funding for education, a commitment to making pensions so that workers know that they can rely on that. Increased spending to make sure that senior plans are in place. Continued commitment to reducing property taxes because we need to make New Jersey more affordable both in anchor and again the next step when we come to stay. This is a budget that reflects our values, and you can tell it because it does all of the things that we said to people are important to you, they're important to us. Increased funding for education. We'll continue to do those things that make New Jersey better and stronger. This budget's about the future. It sets us up to continue to do it. Yes, we spend more than we took in, but the truth of the matter is we have the reserve, we have the surplus to be able to cover that because of the good fiscal stewardship in the past. So the past is the prologue to the future, and we're going to have continue to do those kinds of things, continue to stand up for working class New Jerseyans, continue to reflect those in our budgets, and this is reflective of that here today. So to everyone who supported it, thank you very much. You're doing something good and solid for the people of New Jersey. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you. Well done. Thank you, sir. We're going to take on-topic questions, a couple, and then I'll go back and join a scrum. I know there are no off-topic questions, but if you do have them, I'll come to you. Nikita. I'm not running anymore, but so there's no telling what I'll do. Yeah, there is a plan, and I think there's been 2 budgets, I believe, signed in the history of the state with a surplus larger than $6.1 billion, and they're both ours. As I mentioned a minute ago, we're making up for awful behavior before we got here, particularly in pensions, and I'd say secondly in school funding. Secondly, we're coming out of a pandemic, so we are deliberately trying to put chum in the water to grow this economy and get it on a higher trajectory. I think the revenue trend that you've seen heretofore is not reflective of the revenue trend that you're going to see going forward. So this is not just about what we do with our expenses, but also the excitement I think we all share in the future of the state. So stay tuned on that front. Nice to see you, Mr. Mathau.
Hello, how are you, Governor?
A long time. I'm well.
With regard to the whole budget process, I was listening to the Senate session a little bit today, and it sounded kind of like the House was on fire. Executive authorities going so fast through all of the bills that were up to try to get this done in time for you to be here tonight. My question is this the best process for the people of New Jersey?
Yep.
To have everything crammed together like this mad rush
Yep.
every year? And it's not just your administration. It seems like it's been happening for
Yep.
decades.
So at least as long as I've been here, this question comes up every year. So, gentlemen, I'm going to give it a shot, and if you see anything differently, please jump in. I presented this budget in February. I think this is about right. It's given the total $50-odd billion, about 98% of it. Does that sound about right, Aaron? Tariq? About 98% of it is what was put on the table in February. Literally 98%. And so that's a fact that I think we don't emphasize enough. Yes, the end comes fast. This happens every year. We're people of goodwill. I think we're all hoping to have more of a runway, longer period of transparency around that last 2%. But one thing leads to another, and historically that hasn't been the case. But again, a plus or minus 98% of this budget's been out there for 4 months, hearing after hearing. Liz Moyle goes up there, does the Lord's work multiple times. I'm, as you know, former chair of the National Governors Association, and I've been here for 7 years. I've seen enough models around the country to be able to say our process is pretty darn good. I think would all of us like to have the last few feet be a little bit longer runway, a little bit more? Yes, we would. But it hasn't worked out heretofore that way. But 98% plus or minus for 4 months, I don't think any state in the nation has that.
Yeah, I'd like to say one thing.
Yeah, please, come in.
I always go fast. So,
Nick did say this to me earlier. Daniel.
Governor, with the 2.5%
I meant to-
transparency, New Jersey would have one of the highest
Listen, you don't pull that lever happily. We have one of the most thriving business communities of any American state. But you saw the drama that played out in New York City and New York State with the MTA, where they were going to rely on third parties essentially to solve their fiscal challenge in the transit system. And we committed, I think it's fair to say all of us committed, that we wanted to solve our problems within our four walls. And sometimes that's not pain-free. Now, the reason that it's got a sunset on it is because NJ Transit is going to, the Lord helps those that help themselves, and they're embarking on a fairly significant restructuring. The state is still putting money in. So there are a number of different sources here. But you want to make sure people get good value for money, and we're very, very sensitive to that. The bulk of businesses are going to get a tax cut because, as you know, we raised the limit on the net income threshold so that this is a much smaller universe. I think 80%, if I'm not mistaken, of the businesses will be paying lower taxes this year versus last year. That's also an important point to make. But we want to deliver good value for good money. We sort of fell asleep at the switch for too long on the startup culture and community in the state. That is now changing. Thanks to the folks up here with me, the legislation we put forward. These incubators that we're funding, they'll put off 50 startups a year. We have many of them out there. That whole reality will change. It's a lot cheaper to birth a company in this state than it is to go out and have to buy it to come to this state. Anybody else real quick? Sir.
Yeah, I'd like to follow up on that 2% that you talked about. And so in talking to a lot of the Republicans, they're saying that they were only given a couple of hours to look through the budget and to look through the Christmas tree items. And to that 2%, there are some people who would argue that there are so many amendments that are being made at this last minute that even that other 90 days that you're talking about still has new things that needs to be looked at.
Yeah.
Now, Nancy said that Corzine needs to get it done by like June 11th. I don't know how true that is, but
Can I just clarify on that?
Please come to the mic.
I heard that comment yesterday.
Liz, the mic. Sorry.
It's, right, well, and Governor Corzine would have turned in his budget, his administration budget, at the end of February. So our budget was produced, the governor's budget, at the end of February this year. It's this combined budget and the Appropriation Act that is now signed into law now in June. So it's different. I wasn't sure why Assemblywoman Munoz said that, but I just want to clarify that.
Okay. Let's get the speaker to come in to just
Just a couple of things. One, first of all, I mean, as the governor pointed out, the budget was out for 4 months, and everybody had the opportunity to read that. Largely, that is the case. A little bit comes at the end of the time, but in the intervening time, Senator Sarlo's Assemblywoman Pinto Marin conducted hearings. Hundreds of people came to testify. The Republicans were all there, had the ability to do that. They had the opportunity at the end. There's 2 sheets. There's the score sheet and the language sheets that have to be considered. So. I think if we all had the opportunity to do it a few days earlier and make sure that there was more time for people to do it, we'd do it. But, it's sort of like a storm, the budget. If you was a storm on a plane, you can see it sort of gathering, and then all of a sudden it comes together and there's a real storm, and those are the final frenzied days, and then the sun comes out, and here we are. So we always meet the constitutional deadline to make sure that we're considering it. But there's ample opportunity for people to have participation in it before.
Thank you. Real quick, Brett, you get the last one.
When do you actually go and sign it? Tonight, tomorrow?
It'll be signed tonight. Paramount tonight, right? It'll be signed tonight. Yeah, absolutely. I want to thank everybody, especially the Senate President and Speaker and their colleagues, the Treasurer, the various teams. The budget chairs are extraordinary, the Lieutenant Governor. This is an extraordinary team to work with. This is an extraordinary state. I will throw myself back into the mosh pit there in 30 seconds and take off topic questions. Thank you all. God bless. Have a great weekend. Happy 4th of July if I don't see you. And here's to a great summer of 24. Congratulations.